With the way this world looking, y'all need to start making your survival apothecary because you never know who you might need to heal or take out when it's time. Here is a list of herbs that you need. You ready? Now, if you or anybody in your party happen to sustain some broken bones because you had to face off against another group, comfrey is an amazing herb to help expedite bone healing. Now, echinacea is a great herb to counteract poison that enters the body, specifically from venomous snake bites and spider bites. Now, if you're running and you get any scraped bruises or cuts, plantain is a great herb to help expedite skin healing, and it's also great for poison ivy. Let me know if y'all want a part 2, because I can keep going. Here is your survival apothecary list part 2, since y'all love part 1 so much. And if you have not seen part 1, go ahead and watch it. We cover herbs for poison, for broken bones, and for wound healing. Listen, y'all need to save this list because it's looking real Hunger Game-ish out here, okay? All right, so you're in a survival situation. Your group ends up getting into a fisticuff with another group, and somebody out of nowhere takes out a What herbs do you use to stop the bleeding? So the first herb I will reach for is yarrow. Yarrow contains tannins and alkaloids that help constrict the blood vessels to help stop internal and external bleeding. The next herb I will reach for is fleabane. Fleabane is considered a weed, but was used by Native Americans to help stop bleeding. It also contains tannins and volatile oils to help promote blood clotting, which is great if you're trying to get something to stop bleeding. And the last herb is shepherd's purse. It has astringent and vasoconstrictive properties, which help constrict blood vessels and reduce bleeding. Now, traditionally, it was also used by Native Americans for wounds, cuts, and even nosebleeds. All of these herbs can be applied as a poultice under your compress to help stop bleeding if you ever had a situation. Since we're literally on the verge of World War III, here is your survival apothecary list because it looks like we might have to use it sooner than we think. Okay, so you and your family are on the run and you injure yourself, and over time you get an infection. What are herbs that you can use as a natural antibiotic? Now, an amazing natural antibiotic herb is usnea, which was traditionally used by Native Americans to prevent infections in wounds and expedite healing. And usnea is this herb right here. Now, usnea is bacteriostatic, which means that it helps stop bacteria from reproducing so that the immune system can clear the infection. Its primary active compound is usnic acid, which is effective against gram-positive bacteria. Now, this next part is extremely important. In order to extract the antibiotic compounds, you do need to make a tincture. Oh, and other herbs you can use as natural antibiotics include yarrow, self-heal, and plantain. Now,
ain't no fluffy but her today. Y'all gonna learn how to make medicine from trees. Y'all knew I cured myself of a deadly illness from medicine I grew right here on the farm. Well, if you didn't, now you do. Instead of a medicine cabinet in my cabin, I have the Upendo pharmacy, which is all medicine that I grew right here on the farm. Whether usnea is the topic for today, also known as old man's beard. I took little Miss Thuggin' and Huggin' on an adventure to go find some usnea. Help mama find more. Girl. My girl said you better take these leaves and get better. I tried to show my girl one more time what to look for, and I gave it to her, and honestly, she got creeped out and threw that thing on the ground, child. There's absolutely nothing to get creeped out about. Usnea can be found almost everywhere in the U.S. You want to look for it in heavily forested areas around this time of the year. So to answer your question, what is usnea and what are the benefits? Usnea is a lichen, which is a symbiotic of two organisms, a fungi and an algae. And this lichen, when made into a tincture, 1 drop a day can keep them colds away. Baby, we talking about antiviral, antifungal, respiratory health, lung health, colds and flus at bay, MRSA, baby, wound care. We talking about big back care. Yes, usnea can also help you lose weight, baby. I know y'all gonna ask me about lookalikes, and yes, there is a lookalike, kind of, sort of. Usnea, when stretched, kind of snaps like a rubber band with a little white tip. Spanish moss doesn't respond the same, but it still has its own medicinal benefit. To make a herbal tincture, all you gotta do is remove the dirt and debris, go ahead and rip the usnea into like little pieces and strings, put it in your mason jar, and fill that thing up with some alcohol. Not rubbing alcohol, baby. Liquor. 90 proof or better. Wait about 6 weeks and make sure you shake it up every day and strain that thing. And be better than me. Put it in some amber dropper bottle. And you, my baby.
Today, we're making medicine out of this moss. Actually, it is a lichen. This is usnea. You can tell by the elasticy thread inside, and it is not to be taken lightly. This stuff is an antibacterial that's actually effective against gram-positive bacteria, so stuff like strep and staph and urinary tract infections. It's not a cute little herb that you want to drink every day because it will kill all the good bacteria in your body. According to my extensively researched notes, this is antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial, antiparasitic, antibiotic, immunostimulant, and regulator. Apparently, it doesn't just like boost your immune system, like help fight off bad stuff. It helps your immune system to work properly, like from the depths of your body. So if you're having like acute immune problems, like you have a really bad cold or even things like pneumonia, usnea is going to be your best friend. And honestly, with all the weird sickness going around these days and more people not having health care, my husband, it's actually really important to know what options you have, because yeah, at some point you're going to need to go to the hospital if it gets really bad, but maybe you can stop it from getting there if you just know what you can get your hands on. It grows really slowly, so it's something that you want to forage mindfully. So like only forage it in areas where it's abundant and try and only pick it up off like fallen branches on the ground. Also, never take the first that you see and never take all of what you see. I'm realizing I actually didn't really need the mortar and pestle. That was overkill, but it looked cute. I'm just gonna cut it up a little bit to release all the inner goodness. The interesting thing about usnea is that there's certain elements in it that are best extracted by alcohol, and then there's certain elements that are better extracted by water. So to get the most out of it, you want to do what's called a double extraction. That's a cobweb, extra protein. So technically you want a 1:6 ratio of this to alcohol, or you can just pour alcohol over it. You want a 90 proof alcohol at least. I'm using a 97% proof gin. So we're just gonna cover this with gin. Beautiful. So this is the first extraction. This is going to sit for 2 to 4 weeks and get all the goodness it possibly can out of this usnea. And then we're going to strain off the alcohol and then boil the usnea and keep adding water and cook it down and down and down until we get a really concentrated decoction, which is like a very strong tea. Then we're going to mix the decoction and the tincture together, and that's going to be our medicine. We're going to label. A good crone always labels. Usnea, gin, label. Perfect. This goes in a dark place for 2 to 4 weeks. You don't have to do anything to it. Just let it sit. And then come back to me and we'll make our decoction.
This video, we're covering where to buy herbs. Coming in at number 1, one of the most respected herbal suppliers in the US is Mountain Rose Herbs. They're known for their certified organic herbs, their amazing quality. Another respected herbal brand is Star West Botanicals. Now, I love them for their affordable prices, especially if you want to buy wholesale because you're a herbal business like myself. You're looking for Caribbean herbs and you want to support local indigenous healers. Check out Latara from Simply More Holistic. She has an Etsy shop and she sources all of her herbs locally from Jamaica. And if you're looking for local African herbs, the BIPOC Herbalism Conference is coming out with an African medicine workshop next month, and we are sourcing our herbs from Togbe Jatafia's Herbal Farm all the way in Ghana. I wild harvest my herbs in nature as well as grow my own herbs myself, y'all. I promise you, you will save money. You do have medicine growing in your backyard.
Shalom, sisters. Okay, hear me out. Do you ever think about why our foremother Rachel might have wanted those mandrakes in the scripture? Like, I've been thinking lately with everything that's going on, with the earthquakes, with the pestilences, the diseases, the famine, we really need to get our survival herbs together. What if we just went outside and looked and really started to study the things around us? We could have an apothecary right in our backyard. Even if you stay in an apartment, we could literally have herbs around us right in our backyard that could be useful for us. So I put a list together of the resources and the herbs that actually will help with survival. Even if we went to tabernacles and we made tabernacles an event, a serious event where we looked for herbs and different things. Okay, the spider really freaked me out. But what if we get bit by a spider? What if we get bit by a spider or anything like that, a snake, God forbid, and we need those herbs to heal us? We're in the wilderness. We don't have access to doctors, to medicine. Well, we do have doctors. However, we don't have access to these things. So it's very important to be knowledgeable of these things and learn these things. So I put this list together.